How you doing, audience? Please like and subscribe and follow me on Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. What we're going to get into in this video is, excuse me a second, I have to cut this. What we're going to get into in this video is how corrupt our federal government really is. Um, these guys do a really awesome job at narrating what's going on about FEMA, about their balance sheet. You can't, it has no transparency whatsoever. It's like a rogue agency. And you know what people are saying, there's conspiracy theory out there saying, well, could they really control hurricanes? Well, the answer to that is I'm going to let you figure that out for yourselves, make your own decisions. But there is a thing called High Frequency Active Aurora Research Project. And so in essence, it'll be, if you look it up, it'll be HAARP. And it's not the harp the angel plays, let me tell you. And that's actually a book about weather modification. It used to be called Elay Technology Cloud Seeding. Now they're bouncing AM frequency off the ionosphere. It bounces up and it comes down, and they realized that they had a weapon. The U.S. Navy has taken control of this. The first site was in Kokona, Alaska. Now they have more mobile sites available. But you know, whether this took place in this hurricane, I would tend to say, you know, personally, the way I've researched, kind of yes, just because the close proximity to the storms, the hurricanes that are actually today were on Wednesday, uh, and you know the hurricanes are touching down as we're talking in Florida, and then they're going to get a Category 4, you know, hurricane. They had 6-foot swells last time. Now these swells are 12 feet tall. So I'm going to let this video play, and we can get into how corrupt and how far gone our government is, and it's even if it isn't retrievable, because with the, you know, importing of migrants, or I won't even call them migrants, they're an invasion of an army that they're assembling inside our country against American citizens. They're teaching critical race theory. That's what they taught to the Jews right before they rounded up the Germans rounded up the Jews. It was taught to the Germans, critical race theory concerning the Jews. What's being taught to most of America concerning white people is critical race theory against us. So that would just work. You know, colonizers and slave masters. We still are thought as colonizers and slave masters, and you know, how dare we, you know, a national populist movement with the sovereignty of our own country. But let's watch this video and get into this.
Helene was a wake-up call. This is literally catastrophic. And I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Breaking news as FEMA is broke by their own disclosure. So today what we're going to do is take you guys under the hood and away from all of these crazy polarizing comments, and we're going to figure out whether or not FEMA is broke by using their own statements, reports, and balance sheets to really get to the bottom of this. And my question is, if they are broke, where did the money go? And if they're not broke, where is the money for these victims? Now, the second segment of this video is going to be on the absolute catastrophe that has just happened for the entire world's semiconductor industry. A special quartz facility has just been obliterated in North Carolina that can send ripple effects through the supply chain issues that we already have. So all of the conspiracy theorists that think there's a land grab going on with lithium mines, I thank you for sending me down that rabbit hole. But I think you might be looking at the wrong material. Now we're going to end the video out by tackling Hurricane Milton, and we're going to show you guys exactly what's going on with Hurricane Milton. We're going to listen to the mayor of Tampa issue evacuation orders and warn people that if they don't evacuate, they will not survive the hurricane that is currently about to smash into Florida either super late tonight or early in the morning. And I'm also going to show you guys the
That's a horrible
technology that
time
we're
to
using
have
to
it
track
happen.
this hurricane as far as the pressure and the wind. And me and Mitch are going to talk about what to do and how to prepare for an absolute natural catastrophe like we're about to face within 24 hours. And before I go into the video, Mitch, happy Tuesday, sir. How are you?
Well, as usual, it's been a long handful of hours in getting this information prepared. And we do the best that we can under the circumstances because the information that's coming in is literally by every 4 or 5 minutes. So we're working on it.
Yeah, this story was very overwhelming. The viewers are in store for overwhelming value today. And I wanted to give a quick thank you to everyone that donated to Melody Wright. She is in Tennessee, boots on the ground. You guys contributed to her. Those links will be in the description if you guys want to support her and what she's doing in Tennessee. We're going to start this video out by tackling FEMA. And the way I want to start this segment is by going to FEMA directly to address the rumors of them being broke. I'm on the FEMA website. And again, I want to use their words, their statements, their balance sheets to figure out whether or not they're broke. This is what FEMA says, rumor. FEMA does not have enough money to provide disaster assistance for Helene. And this is what they're saying the fact is. This is as of October 3rd, 2024. FEMA has enough money right now. I highlighted right now, Mitch, because that's a loaded statement. What does that mean? For immediate response and recovery needs. If you were affected by Helene, do not hesitate to apply for disaster assistance as there is a variety of help available for different.
It was said disaster assistance comes to $750. Meanwhile, every illegal invasion person that comes over our border, which there have been about 35 million in the past 4 years almost. It's not 25 million like they told you. It's more than that. And what's disturbing is they have camp facilities in Peru that the U.S. is flying Chinese men in from Chinese Republic of China, the Yemen, Syria, Afghanistan, Congo, just all over the world, and these people are going directly into our military. They're going either in different parts of the United States. And the other ones are going to a camp which is right outside the Mexican border, which they call camp, which means boot camp, which they're getting indoctrinated to hate white people, bottom line. And this is really happening, along with the corruption that you're going to hear right now from FEMA. Listen to this.
Different needs, except you guys aren't there and you're not issuing the money. Let's start by talking about the facts. All right, Mitch? So all we're going to go into now is the facts. Fact number one, President Biden did issue a letter to Congress on October 4th. And I'm just going to read one paragraph here. While FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund has the resources it requires right now to meet immediate needs, I wonder where they got that right now from. See how that connects there, Mitch? The fund does face a shortfall at the end of the year. This is the President of the United States. Without additional funding, FEMA would be required to forego longer-term recovery activities in favor of meeting urgent needs. The Congress should provide FEMA additional resources to avoid forcing the kind of unnecessary trade-off and to give the communities we serve. Remember, politicians, you serve these communities. Fact number two, and this is just a warning, Majorca warns FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through the hurricane season. And just so you guys know, this is the Secretary of Homeland Security. Okay, this isn't just some wacko. This is an official warning the nation that
Alexander
FEMA's broke.
Mayorkas, the corrupt
number three,
traitor.
Earlier this year, FEMA initiated what's called the Immediate Needs Funding. Immediate Needs Funding Overview. And again, this is a fact. FEMA issued this to ensure available funding for these critical requirements. FEMA's chief financial officer can implement immediate needs funding guidance, which they did. When operating under INF, FEMA prioritizes response and immediate recovery effort funds by deprioritizing obligations to other activities. Fact number four. Okay, this one may be the most damaging thing of all, Mitch. This is their disaster relief fund, their congressional monthly report for August 31st of 2024. And if you look down here, they're running in a deficit. Now, this was reported to Congress. You guys can go back and it's just a giant report. There's 28 pages. Go ahead and dig in. But long story short, they gave this to Congress and said they don't even have enough money to get through September without running in deficit. And this report was prior to Helene. So far, why are we conspiracy theorists? It's them that's saying they're broke. Fact number 5. Okay, this is from the Department of Homeland Security, Office of Inspector General, issued August 14th, 2024. I hope you guys are paying attention now. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, did not, again, okay, this is the Office of Inspector General's report. It will be linked to my description. FEMA did not ensure that it closed out disaster declarations in a timely manner. We reviewed 79 disaster declarations and identified 26 programs with nearly $9.4 million in unliquidated funds that remain open beyond their approved periods of performance. This situation is problematic. Here's what's very interesting about this report, Mitch. These are the open programs with POP extensions. Okay, so I want you to look at the initial date right here and the extension date and the unliquidated funds as of June 2023. We got lucky with this report. They've been working on this report for years. Look at this. Look at how much money FEMA really has. $7 billion in money that's just sitting there. When I keep going here and I get to the conclusion of this report, let me read this, okay? And again, this is not me. We're just using the agency summaries and conclusions to report to you guys. As of July 2023, the DRF was projected to have $4.3 billion deficit by the end of 2023, okay? That's how that starts. So FEMA is saying they're going to have a deficit because this report has been going on so long. It just was released. They're going to have a deficit in 2023. So they're always saying that they're broke. You guys understand why it's so confusing? Continued delays in FEMA closing older disasters puts an added strain on the primary source of funding for the federal government's disaster relief program by withholding the slush funds, by withholding the return of $7.1 billion in potential monetary benefits. Just real quick before I go back to you, Mitch, talking about that $750, that $750 is not a loan. What it is a serious needs assistance program that's been around for a little while. And this allows people to get $750 that you do not have to pay back for immediate needs. Now, obviously, that's not enough money. Mitch Vexler, I don't know about you, but that was extremely, extremely disturbing. Where's the money? Why isn't it being used to truly help people? Those are the taxpayers. Those are the people that are paying into that fund. Can you answer this question, sir? In your opinion, is FEMA just one big giant government slush fund? And are they or are they not broke?
They are a slush fund being used for clandestine purposes, as we stated in the prior video on FEMA. And when I also stated that they should be shut down, I would like to answer your question, but starting at the back end rather than the front end. A review in court shall hold unlawful and set aside agency action, findings, and conclusions found to be arbitrary, capricious, and abuse of discretion, or otherwise not in accordance with the law. U.S. Code 706-2A. When I said that FEMA should be shut down, that was the correct statement. What you are seeing here are interagency agreements that you can't see. And that would be by definition of commission and or omission. In other words, are admitting evidence that even the Office of the Inspector General can't get their hands on. So when an agency is doing that, that is in complete violation of the law. FEMA is corrupt from top to bottom. It's not to say that there aren't people inside of it that know what they're doing. However, the leadership has caused such problems. So much money has been stolen. Interagency contracts. Remember, you can look at it, well, we have to buy 500 trailers. Okay, well, who's getting the kickbacks on the trailers? You can't see any of this. You can't see it in the balance sheets. There aren't notes to the balance sheets. And this has ramifications that we've already discussed in other videos, all the way down to the school districts and what they're doing. If you can't see it, crimes are being.
Folks, this isn't just bad news. This is an existential threat to the United States, almost a relatively very short period of time, 6 months to a few years. If Trump doesn't get in, he'll give us a soft landing on the crash. But they're dumping our dollar like crazy on top of their printing money. The taxes don't even pay for anything anymore. It's the printing press, and the printing press is coming to an end because everybody's dumping our currency. It's called BRICS, BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, uh, um, uh, China. Brazil, Russia, India, uh, China, South Africa, and Saudi Arabia also on top of it, secretly Iran. And many other countries are wanting to dump our dollar if they haven't already. But that's a major start, and it's shame on this administration for being as complicit and treasonous as they are. They're guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors, punishable by actual death. With the destruction they're doing to this country is unfathomable. You can't even wrap your head around all the evil that's going on. It's spiritually evil too.
Being committed. It's real simple. He has people that they have to answer to in both divisions of the government, but everybody says, well, it's FEMA, we'll work it through, there's emergencies. Go and read the second paragraph on FEMA's website. It says we're here before an event, during an event, and after an event. Really? And what exactly did you do as far as North Carolina was concerned before an event? Please explain. So members of Congress, you have a job to do and you didn't do it. FEMA is a rogue organization using its money for clandestine purposes. Period. End of paragraph. Go ahead. Try to disprove me.
Very powerful, Mitch. And speaking of things that we can't see, let's tie this in now. For some of the people that have been watching us, I mean, Mitch and I are always talking about the schools, because here's the thing with the schools. You can't see the debt. I threw this up real quick. This is a school district, and look at how they explain to us how they're going to pay for bonds. This is just, again, drawing all of this together. They tell us how much bond per capita, okay, payments, you see that? But they never allow us to see the actual balances and how much money they have. FEMA is the same as the school districts, okay? And I'm not talking about the teachers, okay? There are some great teachers. I'm talking about that back end. You guys have been following along. It's useless. You can't count on them. Mitch, let me ask you, how much would transparency fix all of this?
Can you put that chart?
Yeah, I pray for people, Father. I pray for people that are stuck, elderly, that don't have a car, that are going to be stuck in this zone, A and B, and hurricane, with this hurricane, they might not make it out. I pray for them, God, that you have mercy on their souls, mercy on their physical beings, and let this hurricane pass with the minimal amount of damage, Father. I can't even imagine if it was happening to me, what I'd be praying for. Just imagine if it was happening to you, what you'd be praying for. Remember these people. This is real serious stuff, guys.
Back up. It's time to destroy that issue right now. Put that school. Okay. I want to explain to everybody. See where it says net bonded debt per capita? So where it says 3,772 under that column, you have to realize that that includes a 1-year-old child. That is based on the population, not based on the real estate taxpayers. That number is probably 60% greater. In other words, when they're looking at it, they're including the entirety of the population. Well, the entirety of the population doesn't pay tax, give or take. Let's call it 30%. So that taxable assessed valuation per capita is probably, let's call it 3 times greater. That is a fraud. That is omission. That falls under federal law 706(2)(a). Purely arbitrary, capricious, intended to mislead. They are lying their ass off.
Okay. So, I mean, how much would transparency change all of this, Mitch?
Well, to a certain extent, nothing is perfect in life. However, transparency, so you can have notes of these bonds, notes of the debts tied to the balance sheet to the point where you can actually analyze, i.e. in the school district's case, food contracts or HVAC contracts, which is air conditioning contracts, to see how much money is truly being spent, what the real cost of that is, where are the cost benefit analysis documents before you even go ahead and make a purchase order. None of this is happening. And it's all intentionally being hidden. And we'll get down to the intent shortly. But that's the reality of the circumstances we're now in. You've got fraud in multiple government levels for very nefarious reasons. And you've got it in the school districts, you've got it in the school teachers union, you've got it in FEMA, you've got it in the central appraisal districts. These entities are rogue entities. They don't give a damn about the law.
All right, man. Well, let's close this segment up. And just real quick for the viewers, I want to recap. Fact: Biden issued a letter to Congress saying that FEMA needed money. Fact: FEMA initiated the immediate need mandate. Fact: FEMA issued a report to Congress in August saying that it didn't have enough money to make it through September prior to Hurricane Helene hitting. Fact: the Inspector General report issued a warning of incompetence from FEMA. Fact: FEMA really has not.
The Inspector General is complicit and incompetent himself, and I don't understand why Congress, the Republicans and Democrats, we have the we have Congress, and the Senate, is held by the Democrats still. Why are we funding any of these agencies that are rogue? So don't let them fool you. Oh, they're putting on a wrestling show for you. Oh, we're gonna really try to clean things up. I believe if Trump tries to get in, I heard, I can't factually say this. He had a team of approximately 41,000 people that were going to revamp the entire government. And I hope that's true. And it sounds like something that Trump would be able to, and Elon Musk would be able to pull off, if anybody would be able to pull it off. But it needs to get done, because if it's not done, we're going to meet a very swift, terrible landing real soon.
$9 billion. And my question is, and maybe you guys can answer this in the description, FEMA, where is the money? And why aren't you helping U.S. citizens more? Now, having said that, this story was wild, okay?
They had some Haitians that were found on their EBT card, 25,000 in food stamps, 29,000 in cash. Actual witness, eyewitness, I could verify the story, had seen that on, she worked in a supermarket, and she would see their balance. And each of the other migrants get $2,000. I don't know why the Haitians get more money. I don't know if that's 29,000 a month or 29,000 total. But what's happening is they're shipping in these migrants on top of these hurricanes, on top of North Carolina's voting booth is completely out. Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, all pretty much a lot of the red states that have been hit by this, which is true. It's not a conspiracy theory; it's a fact. And that these states are red, and that we're probably going to go red until this hurricane hit. And if they're funding all these migrants with this enormous amount of money, why aren't they helping American citizens more? And why aren't they, what they come in, these migrants come in, and what the landlords do is tell the occupied residents, hey, 2 months your rent is going up to $2,100, and it was originally $600. Well, they don't have that $2,100 or $2,400 to pay, but the landlord knows he'll get that from the federal government. So it's greed, and it's putting people out on the streets that can't even afford, poor people that can't afford lawyers to defend themselves, and don't know the court system. And it says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Please don't perish for your lack of knowledge. Research all of this that I'm telling you, that this guy's telling you. Read your Bible, stay in touch with God,
And for the people that led me down the path, I want to talk to you guys now about the massive supply chain disruptions that are about to happen that essentially no one is talking about. The entire world depends on one mining quartz facility to run the semiconductor industry, which has been completely wiped out and destroyed. But first, let me confront the lithium land grab rumors. I'm just going to quickly show you what I found as far as any type of lithium mines that have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. First of all, what you guys need to understand is we actually only have one lithium mine that operates in the United States. That's in Silver Peak Mine in Clayton Valley,
there's
Nevada.
another one potentially
Most global
that's
lithium
coming out in North
supply is
Carolina.
actually extracted from Chile and Australia. But I will give you guys some props, because you are right. They've actually been doing drilling, and they've been investigating doing a lithium project. As you guys can actually see here, in North Carolina. So, a good job for pointing me there. What's interesting is Piedmont Lithium says they were approved for state mining permit. I'm not ready to jump on that conspiracy theory because, again, there's just so many resources of lithium throughout the world. We have other areas that we can get lithium in. But here's the thing, you guys, we only have one facility that produces this extremely special quartz, and it just got destroyed. Take a look. This is from March 23rd of 2024. So again, people have plenty of warning, okay? The world's semiconductor industry hinges on a single quartz factory in North Carolina. The deposits formed 380 million years ago when Africa collided with North America. This is a very important facility. And look at this facility. Looks like a pretty beautiful facility here. Okay. Now, this is crazy because this is what this person's saying. The modern economy rests on a single road in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. I'm going to play a video that's going to break this down a lot more. Here's the facility right here. Okay. Here's the Quartz Corporation. You see that? Okay. So that's the facility. Looks like a nice facility. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can kind of see where this is located in North Carolina. So let me zoom out a little bit here so we can kind of get an eagle eye view. Now, the first thing that I want you guys to pay attention to that's very, very interesting, okay, is when I zoom out here, look at how close, all right, this is to Asheville. Asheville's right here. And what else is very, very interesting is look at all of these flood warnings, Western North Carolina floods. See all these flood warnings right here? See that? The very, very interesting thing to see up here as well is it almost puts a circle around the Quartz Corporation. That's very, very interesting to me. Now what I want to do is let's play a video from a reporter that's boots on the ground, and let's see what's going on.
And sticking with the chip makers, the whole group could face a new under-the-radar risk that could undermine the industry within 6 months' time. We turn to Megan Casilla now for those details. Hi, Megan.
Hey, Kelly, that's right. So the semiconductor supply chain is entirely dependent on one mineral called high purity quartz. And virtually the entire global supply of that quartz comes from one tiny town called Spruce Pine, North Carolina. Now, Spruce Pine saw 2 feet of rainfall from Hurricane Helene. And now, nearly a week later, city officials tell me that there's still no water, power, or cell service. The infrastructure is completely disrupted to the point that roads and railways are so torn up that in some areas in the western part of the state, mules are.
Guys, can you imagine living in this environment right now and how you would be praying for things to get back to normal? They have no clean running water. They have no electricity. Winter's coming. This is really bad.
Are being used to transport materials in and out. So the 2 companies that operate the quartz mines there, that's Sibelco and Quartz Corp, they tell us their work has been shut down since Thursday. And Quartz Corp adds that they have no visibility as to when operations can restart. So the question becomes not just whether the mines themselves have been damaged, but also whether it's possible to get the quartz out. Disruptions would impact not only the $5 billion quartz market, but the $600 billion semiconductor market that depends on it. And that quartz is also used in solar panels, fiber optic cables, and some light bulbs, which could all see some issues as well. And Kelly, I just spoke a few minutes ago with the head of TechSet. They track the quartz supply chain.
It's also in all your computers and your cell phones. So,
Their best guess right now is 4 to 6 weeks until things are back up and running in Spruce Pine. And that's if the roads are able to be cleared. So that alone could lead to at least minor slowdowns for the chip makers. And every day that timeline gets extended, Kelly, the impact just multiplies.
And so remind me again, when we talk about who in the chip world uses this quartz, is it pretty much everybody?
Every chip maker. So officials in Spruce Pine like to say that if you have a cell phone, if you have a computer, you have a piece of Spruce Pine with you. It's virtually the only place in the entire world that supplies this highly, highly pure quartz that's used in pretty much every semiconductor that's out there. So it was a vulnerability that was known beforehand, but now it's just, the question is really here. Before it was sort of a hypothetical. Now it's a real question of what happens if they can't start to get this quartz out.
Mitch, that's crazy. So according to that video, each of us has a little piece of that town in our households. Can you talk about, what type of massive supply chain disruption that small little mine facility of.
Guys, you pretty much get the gist of this episode. Please follow me, like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. I'm a real serious content creator. Please come back to my channel. I have very interesting things on politics, religion, and UFC. You'll be very interested. I was a professional fight trainer and very good commentary. I'm also a very astute in a lot of political situations and, of course, with Christ. So they're a very interesting podcast to follow. You guys have a great day. God bless everybody. Stay safe and pray for the people that are in this situation.